Well, hey, who's ready to play Storm? Apologies for taking so long to get back to making content. I have been sick as heck and haven't been able to keep down solid food reliably. I'm still not completely 100% recovered, but we're gonna end up working with what I've got anyway. That said, the Jeskai Striker precon is out, as are all of the other precons that I was hoping to be done with before I actually recovered, but, you know, it is what it is. We're where we are. So, the Jeskai Striker precon is, well, it's a Storm deck. Kind of, sort of. So you get a choice between either Shiko and Narset unified, with the ability Flurry, so when you cast your second spell, if it targets a permanent or player, you may copy it. If not, you can draw a card. Or you get Elsha the Threefold Master, with Trample, Prowess, and the ability to generate a bunch of 1/1 tokens based on the combat damage that she deals. So, you have a couple of options here. You can either go the Flurry route with targeted spells, or you can go the Storm route with Elsha. I think based on what the precon gives us, we're gonna go with the Storm route, and we're gonna save Narset and Chico for their own deck. That all said, let's go ahead and take a look at exactly how this deck feels out of the box. So right out of the box with either commander, the deck feels a little slow and clunky, kinda caught between two worlds, with this being an issue that a lot of commander decks suffer from. Chico and Narset really wants you to be playing a 1-2 punch of spells, with those spells being high costed so that your copy ends up going a long way. But Elsha really wants you to be playing a very, very high amount of low-cost spells so that you can end up getting the most out of her prowess ability. This means that if you play the deck as Narset, it feels okay, but if you play the deck as Elsha, it just kind of feels awful and slow unless you get a perfect hand. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck and see what we need to do to make Elsha work a little better. Out of the box, there are a couple of things that I'm happy about. I like the selection of board wipes. These are very good ones for Spellslinger decks. Vanquish the Horde being able to blow up a lot of things for a little bit of mana, and Time Wipe being able to let you get your commander back. I tend to play that in Spellslinger decks myself, so I like it. I do not like the fact that the only burn card we have access to is Gutter Snipe. I really think we should have had a few more instances of that. But the somewhat less reliable Caldera Pyramaw is here as well, which can get out of hand very quickly, but again, this really wants to be in a Storm-centered deck doing its job. Whereas Gutter Snipe comes down early and does its thing consistently, Caldera Pyramaw is weaker than Gutter Snipe for the first few spells that you cast with it until you get enough 1/1 counters on the Pyramaw. It makes it a very unreliable version of this effect, and I'd like to expand on this in the final version of the deck. We do get some fun copy cards in here, Adaptive Training Post being a wonderful one, and Rite of Replication is interesting. I think this is more for the Narset style of things. Both versions of the deck will benefit from the deck's draw package, though. There is a hefty amount of draw in here, and one of the big standouts to me is Whirlwind of Thought. This is a Storm player's just left nut. I'm not even gonna lie. The fact that you can draw so many cards off of Whirlwind just can pilot you through a ton of bad situations. It's also cute that they put Velomachus Lorehold in here. I don't think he belongs in either version of this deck, but he is a cute include. There's a new card with Voracious Bibliophile, which is definitely for the Narset version of the deck. If you cast a spell with one or more targets, draw that many cards. This is a powerhouse in Hinata decks. I'm happy to see this here. Our ramp package is interesting. There are some all-star cards for Storm, like Stormkiln Artist and Mana Geyser, and then there are cards that are good, but just don't belong in the Elsha version of the deck, Curse of Opulence and Shiny Impetus. These definitely belong only in the Narset version of the deck that wants to clone these cards. There are a couple cool recursion pieces, though. Lear, Disciple of the Drowned being a standout, and the fact that Will of the Jeskai, every single deck had a new will card, so this card says that you can either make every player wheel their hand away, or you can get the ability to cast all the cards in your graveyard. This is Just a fantastic card, but you have to have a lot of mana to sink into it to make this work. The deck is running a nice and smooth removal and interaction package, though, again, there are some strange includes that I need to note. I don't like Magma Opus. I really don't like Magma Opus. I understand that this is for the Narset version of the deck. The ideal situation is you have 9 mana and you pay 1 mana for like an Opt or something, and then you pay 8 mana for Magma Opus. Then you get to deal 8 damage to things, tap 4 things, make 2 8/8s, and then draw 4 cards. Yeah, this is fine for that, but if I'm spending 8 mana on a card, I want it to be doing a little more than that and not be so reliant on the commander to get its actual true benefit out. And Transforming Flourish, I just flat out don't like this card. I really don't like this card. This feels like all of the worst opportunity costs of a Chaos Warp, but with none of the benefits. You may be able to use this to deal with multiple things at once, but if you demonstrate it, an opponent can get rid of your own things with this too. It's just not really good. And considering that it's in the same set of cards as Dismantling Wave, which does the same thing, but hits more targets and doesn't have a chance of hitting you, and doesn't give your opponent back all of their resources. I mean, just Transforming Flourish confuses me. This feels like the funniest of funny haha cards and not actually a good card you want to keep. I am happy to see Narset's Reversal in here. That's very flavorful. Card's amazing. And for the Storm Fun stuff, boy, my girl Veyrin is here. I love when they print Storm decks and they choose to put Veyrin in them, because Veyrin is just, it's my first Storm commander, and I really, really love her. The ability to re-trigger any of your triggers that happen from casting instants or sorceries is hard to get. It's very hard to choose not to do that. And, then we have Tempest Technique, which feels super weird and interesting. So Tempest Technique is an enchantment that really wants you to be playing a Voltron deck, but it wants you to be playing a Voltron deck with low mana cost enchantments. This wants to be in Galea or Suvasa, really, really hard. Decks that benefit from a lot of low mana enchantments happening all at once. This deck seems to want to use it as a way to cause Narset to just instantly one-shot a player by getting a bunch of copies of Tempest Technique on her, and that will kill a player, and that's fine and dandy, but it's probably one of the least flavorful ways we could go with doing a player kill, and it being an enchantment, it just feels kind of strange. I don't hate Tempest Technique. I think it's a very funny and very flavorful card. It just feels weird in this deck, honestly. It will eliminate one player, though. They will be surprised when they get domed by this. The deck does also have a lot of token creation, Manaform Hellkite, Third Path Iconoclast, Young Peasy. I'm happy to see all these here, and then we have some newer cards like a Lionheart with Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell, make the 1/1 monk and make sure that it has it has prowess, right? No? Yes, with prowess, and it gets a rally counter. The Aligned Heart gets a rally counter. So when you cast your second spell, you put a rally counter on it, and then you just make more and more and more and more and more tokens. This thing can get out of hand really, really quick. As for the lands, I'm happy to say that we are back in the era of having good mana bases in precons. The only dud in any of these are the temples, and they're only really duds because we have the better surveil lands to show how this land should have been built if it was built for commander. But seeing good filter lands, seeing pain lands, seeing check lands, seeing the Odyssey filters in every, like, I would like to see the Odyssey filters in every single one of these decks completely, instead of just kind of somewhat haphazardly. Like, it's weird that we have the Is It Odyssey filter and the Is It good filter, but we only have the Boros good filter, but not the Boros Odyssey filter. Weird inclusions, but I am happy that they're here. I'm once again happy that the landscapes are making their way into 3-colored decks. We have 4 Omni lands, as we do with the other sets, and the utility land of the deck is a Reliquary Tower, which does make sense because we are going to end up building this as a Storm deck, and Storm decks do suffer from running out of cards in their hand if they have to discard down at any point. It's Just kind of a sad thing that happens if you don't have a perfect storming hand, where you end up getting all of your rituals and going, I don't have a lot of ability to use these. Or you get a bunch of draw cards, and you use those to dig for your rituals, and then you have to discard down because you didn't find your rituals. Just a weird thing that happens, and Reliquary Tower does help solve that problem. I do believe Reliquary Tower is usually a noob trap for people, but come on, it's fine here. Let's see what we can do to make this deck just a little bit better. Let's see what we're going to be cutting out of it. As I said, for upgrading, we are going to be going with Elsha Threefold Master as our choice of commander. So let's see what is going to be leaving this deck in order to facilitate changing it into something that is better for her. In the copies section of the deck, I don't like Rite of Replication, and I don't think Expansion Explosion needs to be in this version of the deck at all. Expansion Explosion is a great top end if you have a surplus of mana, but this only really works if we are playing a deck that has access to like Burgi and all kinds of other mana generators for Storm. For draw, I need to get rid of a bunch of these high cost cards that don't do a ton for us. Velomachus Lorehold is okay, but that's effectively paying 7 mana for the privilege of casting a single spell. Then we have Manger the Diplomat, which does not need to stay in here. This is more of a somewhat Pillow 40 style of commander, and it's fine, but it doesn't need to be in here. Then we need to get rid of Compulsive Research, Deep Analysis, Think Twice, and Ancestral Vision. We cannot guarantee that cards like Ancestral Vision will be played when they need to be, and cards like Deep Analysis just cost way too much for what they do for a deck like this. This does belong in the Narset version of the deck, definitely, but it does not need to be here. Speaking of Pillow 40 stuff, we don't need the Ghostly Prison that's in here. For ramp, we don't need the Shiny Impetus, we don't need the Curse of Opulence, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, if we're moving into the Storm section of the deck, we can definitely cut some of the Talismans and Signets away as well, because we are going to be using this room to make room for other things that will allow us to do more. For recursion, let's go ahead and cut Lear, Disciple of the Drowned. I do like Lear a lot. I think he's a fantastic card, but for the way we're trying to make this deck function, I think he actually can get the X. And then for removal and interaction, we're going to be getting rid of stuff that just costs way too much mana. Baral's Expertise, the new Transcendent Dragon, Magma Opus, Sublime Epiphany, Electro Dominance, and Transforming Flourish. None of these, outside of the Transforming Flourish, are necessarily bad cards, but if we are going to be building this in a Storm direction, we need to lower that mana curve hard. So let's go ahead and see what we can put in to replace these guys. Right off the bat for the upgrade section, you should definitely be going for a Fiery Inscription if you are moving into the Spell Slingy Storm side of this particular archetype. So Fiery Inscription will let the ring tempt you when it comes out. Doesn't really matter too much. When you cast an instant or a sorcery spell, it will deal 2 damage to every opponent. Electrostatic Field will deal 1 damage to every opponent, and Sorcerer class will draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, and then creatures you control get the ability to tap for mana to cast instant or sorcery spells, and at the final level, every single time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you will burn your opponents equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn. This will not only let you dig through your deck a little bit, but it will close out games on its own. As for the draw package, let's go ahead and add in Path of the Pyromancer as a wheel, Seize the Spoils, and Pirate's Pillage to discard cards and draw cards, while also gaining treasures we'll use to storm off. Wavebreak Hippocamp should also go in here so that when we are casting our first spell each turn, we are getting to replace it. Jeskai Ascendancy is also fantastic here, giving us a looting effect every single time we cast a spell. Also, being able to add a 1/1 counter to all of our creatures makes Jeskai Ascendancy just flat out destroy our opponents, because the monks we summon with Alesha will gain benefits from this. Let's also increase the land count a tiny bit and cut some of our basic lands out in order to add Fury Calm Snarl, Port Town, Frostboil Snarl, and Fiery Islet to smooth out the mana base just a little bit. For the ramp section, let's add Strike It Rich to basically get a treasure whenever we want. Infernal Plunge in order to sack one of our tokens to get 3 mana. Rodeo Pyromancers, whenever we cast our first spell, we'll get 2 red mana. Battle Hymn, getting 1 red mana for every single creature we control. Our commander makes tokens, so this works. Desperate Ritual to make 3 mana, and Runaway Steamkin so that we can remove 3/1/1 counters from it at any point to make 3 mana. And we, of course, make 1/1 counters on the Steamkin by just casting instants and sorceries. For recursion, we did cut Lear, Disciple of the Drowned out. I do still want to have some good recursion in here, so let's put in a Pinnacle Monk, as it is an MDFC and does not hurt us too terribly much. Now for the fun stuff, let's add in some Storm fun cards. We have All-Star, Storm, Staple, Krark the Thumbless. Every time we cast an instant or sorcery spell, we can flip a coin. If we lose the flip, return it to our hand. If we win the flip, copy the spell. 1,000-Year Storm to give all of our cards Storm, and then Swarm Intelligence and Double Vision as the budget ways to copy spells in our deck. Let's also add in some token generation. Talrand the Sky Summoner makes some of the best tokens in the business. Metallurgic Summoning makes some great tokens too, but we can also exile this to return all instant and sorcery cards from our graveyard to our hand, which is just a fantastic way to say, hey, I'm not out of resources, you're just out of options. And then let's add in Kaikar Wind's Fury, who may as well just be the secret lieutenant of the deck. He's got the same similar ability of making tokens as our commander, but he can let them be giant storm pieces as well by letting us sacrifice the spirits to generate red mana. And that does it for how I would modify the deck to change it into more of a storm-centered piece. Let's go ahead and give it a playtest and see how it runs. Right off the bat, we have a very land-heavy hand, but that's fine because we have ways to pitch dead lands out of our hand. So let's go ahead and begin with drawing a card. Let's get a command tower down, and let's tap it to go ahead and do Consider to see what we have on top. It's an Ash Barrens, and we have plenty of land, but we do have this 1,000-Year Storm. Let's go ahead and throw it away and draw a card instead and see what we get. It's a Ferris Lake, that's fine. Now, let's go into turn 2. We have a Fell War Stone. Let's go ahead and drop this mountain down. Tap 2, and let's get that... do we want the Sorcery class down, actually? Yeah, let's do the Sorcery class to draw 2 and discard a land. And another land is likely what we are going to be getting rid of. Yep, that land will go away. Then we'll move on to turn 3. We have Goblin Electromancer. Let's go ahead and play a Battlefield Forge. Tap 2, get a Fell War Stone. Tap 2, get the Goblin Electromancer out. Yeah, it's going to be the No. It's going to be Young Pyromancer. Young Pyromancer's the play. Then we move on to turn 4. And let's go and put Sulphur Falls out. We don't need our commander out just yet. Let's tap 2, and let's level up Sorcerer class once. Now, Young Peasy can be used for fuel to fuel Sorcerer class. And, most importantly, we can use it as fuel to fuel Pirate's Pillage. Let's pitch that Goblin Electromancer out in order to draw 2 cards, and then we'll make 2 treasure tokens. We're going to add those right here. Where are they? There we go. We have 2 treasure tokens, and we get to make 1/1/1 token because of Young Pyromancer. And these can tap for mana later. Let's go ahead and pass on over to our opponents. Moving into turn 5, let's play a Mountain Down, and I think it's time to start doing what the deck really wants to be doing. Let's tap 1, 2, 3, and let's get the commander out. Elsha is out. And now, we can play Will of the Jeskai, but we do not have enough stuff in our yard to matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tap 1, 2, we are going to play an Arcane Signet. That will prowess up our commander by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's get 1,000-Year Storm out there. Now when we cast instant and sorceries, they have Storm. And this will matter here in a moment. Let's go ahead and... nobody's going to be able to... Anybody at this stage is able to block our commander, so we don't care too much about that. So, let's just move into the next turn. We have a Reliquary Tower we can play. That's perfectly fine. I think Will of the Jeskai is the play. We go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's cast Will of the Jeskai. And let's go ahead and discard our hand to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we get to cast the Consider and the Opt that are in our grave. So our storm count is 1. Now let's go ahead and pay 1 mana, and let's cast the Consider. Our storm count is now 2, and we get to look at the top of our deck. We don't need that. We get to draw this. Look at the top of our deck. We do need that, so we are going to draw it. Okay, storm count is 2. Consider is exiled. We've used it. Will the Jeskai is here with a storm count of 2, and we've generated a token. 2 tokens, actually. All right, let me go ahead and put a counter up so that I don't start forgetting where the storm count is. All right, I have an infinite token up there noting that our storm count is 2 so that I do not forget, because I am very likely to. Pirate's Pillage can get us some stuff, but I think what we do here is we pay 3 and we play Seize the Spoils. As an additional cost, we get to discard a card, but then we will get 3 copies of Seize the Spoils. So we are going to go ahead and get 1, 2, 3 treasures off of Seize the Spoils. That goes to the grave. And then Young Pyromancer is going to generate us a token, as she does. There we go. And we have a storm count that is a little bit higher. Do we have... we can make the storm count just a smidge higher. Command Tower. Let's cast Preordain. This lets us scry 2 and draw a card. And this is going to happen 4 times. So scry 2. I don't want this. I do want that. Scry 2. I do want Frantic Search. And I do want Expressive Iteration. So we're going to keep both of these for the next scry. There's the Evolving Wilds. We don't want that. And then the final one, we don't want the mountain, so it's just going to end up being Clifftop Retreat. There we go. Probably a really janky way to do the scry through, but we do get a bunch of cards that we can use here. Now, let's see. We have 3 mana, and we can untap 3 lands for this. We have a storm count of 4. So now what we have to do... This is where things get just fun and nutty. Things get really fun and nutty. We have a storm count of 4. We have 3 treasures. Let's use 1, 2, 3 of those treasures. And let's cast Frantic Search. This lets us draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards and untap 3 lands. And our storm count goes up to 5. So we get 5 copies of Frantic Search. We are going to generate our token. 1, 2, 3. We're going to untap those lands. And... oh, this is at sorcery speed? Gross. Gross. Okay, well, we don't have an instant yet. So we're going to draw 2, discard 1, 2, and we are going to get the next one because I untapped cards wrong. So we are going to untap the next 3 lands with the Frantic Search and discard our 2. I think we need to keep the Runaway Steam Kiln. And then... let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are tapping 6 mana. We have 6 mana available. Frantic Search is going to draw us 1, 2, discard 1, 2, and it's going to untap 3, and then it's going to draw us 1, 2, and then we're going to discard 1 and 2, and we're going to tap untap. So we have 12 mana available right now from the Frantic Search. And then it's going to tap and untap one last time. We'll have 15 mana available in a variety of colors thanks to Frantic Search. And we'll draw our next couple cards and throw our things away. With 15 mana available, thanks to the tapping and untapping of Frantic Search, we'll go ahead and tap everything down so that it's there. Let's add another token so we know what our mana is. Oh, geez. This treasure token up here, we're going to add a counter to it. This is our mana. We have 15 usable mana and a storm count of 5. Let's go ahead and go down 5 mana and let's tell Sorcerer class that it is online. Now let's go ahead and use 1, 2, 3, 4 of that mana and put our storm count up by 1 in order to cast Pirate's Pillage. This is going to discard a card out of our hand. We're going to discard the explosive. No, we're going to discard the Talrand. And that is going to generate us 12 treasure tokens. We have 12 treasure tokens out. And it will draw us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And because we have casted 6 instant sorceries, all of our opponents will burn for 6. Pirate's Pillage goes to the grave. We're going to use 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. No, 1, 2, 1, 2. We are going to go down 5 of our mana to play Pinnacle Monk, and we are going to get back the Pirate's Pillage. Then we are going to cast the Pirate's Pillage again in order to generate 14 treasures and draw discard an Evolving Wilds in order to draw 14 cards. Everybody is going to burn for an amount of life. Then we play Electrostatic Field. And we don't need to play Manaform Hellkite. We can play Gutter Snipe. We can use a bunch of these treasures to play these. These are out. Our storm count is up. Frantic Search is gone. I don't know why I have it where I did. Sorry, I couldn't use the Pirate's Pillage again. I have half the treasures that I got. It wasn't the Pirate's Pillage I used because that was exiled. It was the Seize the Spoils I had to use. The Seize the Spoils is the one that got us there, not the Pirate's Pillage. So we have half the treasures that I thought we have, which means we still have borderline infinite mana right now. Not really infinite mana, but you understand where we're at. We have a ton of stuff. Then, let's go ahead. Oh, we have big score. We can go even further into the deck. Let's see. Battle Hymn. This is for every creature we control. We have lots of creatures. Sure, let's go ahead and cast the Battle Hymn to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 7, so we have 40 some odd red mana, and our opponents are burning for 10 for that. And then we're going to cast Mana Geyser in order to make another, 60 mana, and our opponents are going to burn for 11 for that. And then we are going to cast Infernal Plunge to sack a creature and generate 3 mana for our storm count. So our opponents we are generating 27 mana, and our opponents are burning for 13 damage. Man, it's funny, Ilesha hasn't actually done anything. She's got prowess right now, so our storm count is basic. Like, if anybody survives this, we can punch them with Elsha. But we haven't needed to do anything. Man. What do we... I guess we play the Runaway Steam Kiln to just have more mana. And the Manaform Hellkite, because it just doesn't hurt us to. And... I guess Veyrin as well, because it just doesn't hurt us to. We have the mana to cast all of these. It's red mana, so Veyrin at least cost us one of our treasures. And then... I guess we could also summon Kaikar, which will cost us... 2 more of the mana we generated from before. And yeah, fuck it. Big score. Discard a card. We're going to draw 18 cards. 18 cards. And we are going to generate 18 treasure tokens. And burn our opponents for what? 13 damage? Strike it rich. Our opponents are going to burn for 14 damage, and we will spawn 11 treasure tokens. And then... Man, we didn't need the Storm Kiln Artist at all? Fuck it. Caldera Pyromont? No, that's just weak at that point. Our opponents are dead, guys. Our opponents are dead. They're just dead. They're just dead. I don't know why I'm trying to figure out more ways this deck can kill a player, but our opponents are dead. They're just gone. That's just... Sorcerer class is a nutty card. Thousand Year Storm is a nutty card. We've won on turn 6. This is disgusting and gross, and it's funny because the commander didn't actually do anything. You know, in conclusion, it's Storm. It's Storm. It's a nutty deck archetype that, if allowed to get off the ground, just does terrible, terrible things to our opponent. And by abusing the Storm mechanic, we can make sure that cards like Big Score and Seize the Spoils and Pirate's Pillage generate us so much mana. It is insane. If you've never played Storm before, it is a deck archetype that monopolizes a lot of time away from the table. But if you can get a hang of it, and if you enjoy it, then it is a joy to play 1 or 2 times. I think you might actually find some enjoyment in it. Who knows, though? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if you plan on giving this deck a shot. I know that the way that I have it built, it's a wee bit cancerous. But hey, maybe that's something that you actually do really want to play. Maybe you want to be that problem in your friend group. That all said, if you haven't checked me out on Blue Sky already, please consider doing so. I also have Magic content coming out usually when I'm not sick, Monday through Friday. At least I try to. You can also support me on Patreon or pick up the channel playmat if you would like. And with the world being in the way that it is right now, I do have a politics channel where I am talking about stuff that is going on in your backyard. Maybe that's something that appeals to you. Who knows? And finally, I do tend to stream Monday through Thursday, so please check me out over on Twitch if you have not already. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sticking around for the Storm nonsense, and insert end of video tagline here. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Leela Uraraka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press, though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.